Hey there, welcome back to TML Weekly. John and John here. Thanks to our sponsors Bjorn Hockey and Don Cherry Sports Grill. We're gonna do a quick hit tonight. You know, life's busy for everybody. Um, we're gonna get to the point quickly on the last couple of games, what we're thinking about the next few. Talk about a couple NHL tidbits, and off we go. So. Just finished up the 4-game stretch since the last show. You know, a little bit of a stinker in Utah. What were your thoughts on that game, Johnny?
On the trip as a whole, listen, overall, I think we fared better than I thought we would. I'm not particularly angry at the Utah game. The Utah game, listen, was what it was. Came off the massive win against Colorado. It's almost, if you were betting, you would almost take us to get smoked that game.
Yeah.
But listen, it was a tired team coming off of a high. Not really going to hold them to task too much for the effort. Vegas the next night, boy, that was a game we had in the bag. And that, one of the things I think that we all need to look at there is we were firmly in control of a big game for us on the road. And I think that we're going to look at the positive there. The positive was we came out the gate the right way. For years with this team, we would always be on and on about we turned it on at the end. But we didn't quite show up ready to go. And I think with this team, at least what we saw there was that they were ready to go, and maybe they're learning how to finish. That game could have gone, no problem in our way. Should have been 2 points. They got the tie with 7 or 8 seconds to go, I think. Scramble in front of the net. And again, for those watching, there was a lot of people that were critical of my comments on Easton Cowan. Easton Cowan took a penalty away from the play that led to the goal that set up the power play while we were up to. So again, these are Easton Cowan learning moments that you're going to go through with them, and you take the good with the bad. So I thought we answered the moment for the Marner situation. I thought largely, if you watch the game, Marner wasn't really relevant in the game. It was kind of a typical Mitch Marner game. You don't really notice a lot, and then you look down, and he's got 2 points on the stat sheet. But as far as looking at him and the impact on the game and the energy and everything surrounding it, I thought we handled that.
Yeah. That was my takeaway. That was my takeaway. That could have been an ugly game. That's a really good hockey club. That's a Stanley Cup contender perennially. And you know what? You get a point there. They're back here this week. We'll talk about those upcoming games here in a bit. But again, and then you go to Winnipeg and you do the opposite, right? You're down, turn it up. Austin Matthews has been really good. As we discussed last week, he's really starting to drive the plays. I'm a little concerned with the depth on the back end, like Tanev. That's really, really concerning. We'll see. I expect, Toronto to be looking at a defenseman, probably a right shot defenseman. Just like every other team in the league is looking for. I would be not very surprised if they're kicking tires right now on Doug Hamilton on the back end. And on the surface you can say, okay, well, that's a big cap hit, $9 million. He's got it's not that big of a cap hit anymore, right? 3 years ago, that $9 million. And Doug Hamilton's a really good defenseman. My only concern with Doug Hamilton is if you watch the man play hockey, he's good at it. He's offensive, he's big, he's heavy, he can play physical, right? Why has he moved around so much? And that would be the question coming from me. Is he going to come into the room and disrupt it? Is the leadership in Toronto strong enough to to prevent that, that's what you. And the other one, I'm not going to be surprised if you see a reunion with Mr. Kadri. That's the other kind of. I really believe Calgary's selling. I don't know if he has some protection, but I believe he does. He would welcome coming back here. And there's a guy that could slot in, in a lot of, fill a lot of holes for your hockey club. But we'll get back to it then. We talked quickly about the Vegas game. Mini, that's a good hockey club too, right? You come in off
sleep on Minnesota.
They were a wagon last night. They looked fantastic. Toronto didn't look bad. They just, a couple of turnovers are in the back of your net before you realize it. Yeah. Quinn Hughes adds an element to that hockey club that any 31 other teams would love to have him, right? He drives the play. He's got real good feet to create separation in the offensive zone. There was a couple of sequences last night where he would kind of drive deep, and then he'd peel, and he's pulling the guys out of position a little bit, and then he's just got a fantastic look. He's looking. He's always his head's up on a swivel, and he's finding sticks. So, you know what? They're right in a good spot. You just can't go that with that Atlantic Division as tight as it is right now. You can't go and lose, 5 of 6, right? They're getting points almost every night. Yep. They're right where they need to be. Like we talked about Florida, it doesn't matter where you get in, just get in, right? Doesn't matter who you play. You might be better off getting a wild card and getting somebody from the other division in the first round. That wouldn't be the most horrible thing either, right? The way things are rolling here. But no, you know what? Coming up, let's talk about the 4 games coming up, and then a couple quick points and get everybody back to their business. But Detroit, good hockey club. Vegas, Colorado, and then Buffalo, who's might be the best team in the last month, right? Ever since they get rid of Kevin Adams, I don't know what Yarmo did, but Yarmo went in there and magic button and boom, they're winning hockey games. And I think his message going in there was, hey guys, I'm new here, right? You guys can all play in the NHL. Why don't you show me if you want to stay here? That would have been the message I would have thought he gave. And what are your thoughts on what they're doing lately?
Well, let's talk about Detroit first of all.
Oh, I thought you were going to say, let's talk about the Bills first of all, because I know you're a little sour about that. I'll give you 30 seconds when you're done talking about the Detroit, and when we get to Buffalo, I'll give you a little rant on the.
All right, but I look at Detroit, and there's a team who you think after years of being supposedly on the come up and ready, looks like they're starting to figure it out.
Yeah.
I still think they're a year away from being not from being a year away, but I think they're still a year away from really putting the pieces together and being a legitimate every night. You got to watch out for Detroit. I think Detroit still has some work to do.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to go deep, but these are kind of some games that Toronto has to win at this point, because that could be someone you play.
And the whole thing with the Leafs and even Boston to a certain extent on the come down, these are the teams now that you're starting to have conversations about now. And while they might not be ready to jump you this year, they're definitely on the come up. I like a lot about what Detroit does. The Marner game, listen, let's be honest. That is about as big a regular season ticket in this city in the last.
And an odd Friday night game in Toronto.
But that's what I mean, though. In the last decade, it's got to be the biggest ticket that you can get.
Are they going to boo them?
Oh, they have to, 100%. I think you got a taste of it. I mean, Marner got booed.
Yeah, in his own ring. Yeah,
you know what I mean. But by traveling Leaf fans, so I think that tells you what to expect. And frankly, I hope it happens. I was hoping somebody was going to take a run at him in Vegas, but that didn't materialize. But if you're watching and you're on the team, you want to find a way to guarantee yourself to this fan base. Go out in that first shift and throw your body into that man, and that barn will blow the roof off.
Yeah, that might be an Easton Cowan job, right?
You know what? That would be the best advice this coach could ever give that kid. Go out, enjoy it, son. Go out, get some people behind you, and watch this team get going.
Yeah.
And then we got
Colorado on Sunday.
That is you don't want to call it a revenge game for a team that's not lost in 18 in a row at home.
Yeah.
But Colorado also they know that they were given the boots by the Leafs, and they are going to answer the bell. That's a Stanley Cup caliber team that is not going to go quietly on that one. So
here's my thoughts on that. Here's my thoughts on Colorado, Toronto. Right, if Toronto could keep themselves in that hockey game, okay, win, lose, or draw, you're showing that internally. You're showing, and this would be the message that Chiefs should give them if they can, hang on. You lose a 1-goal game or win one or get it to overtime, right? That's the best team in the NHL.
That's the bar.
That's it. So you could say, hey, you know what? We went in there. They hadn't lost in 18, beat them, and then it was a 1-goal, whatever. Compete, play physical, play the way that you've been playing when you have success. And like I said, win, lose, or draw, compete. And then you can take away from that, hey, you know what? That's the best team in the show, and we just played them twice in 10 days and beat them in their barn and took them to overtime in our barn. Why can't we win the East, right? Why can't we win 100%. The East and go and play these guys, right? It's a good confidence booster for sure. And then you got the Buffalo Sabres.
You know what? Now, is that team not the hardest team to bloody well figure out in the league? I don't know what the magic potion is that they're drinking in Buffalo. All I know is it's going to end in heartache for the Sabres.
Yeah.
Just because
the division's too tight. Ottawa's a better team. If Montreal, Detroit, there's only so many spots,
and they're punching. Like, listen, they're punching above their weight, and good for them. Listen, yeah. I'm not taking anything away from the run that the Sabres have had. Listen. This is, I think it's great for the city, and the city needs it right now in Buffalo. If you're Buffalo,
here you go. 30 seconds, shot clock. Let's go. What's your thoughts on the Bills?
Number one, it was a catch. I've never seen in the history of football how you could take 2 steps with possession of the ball, have a 3rd foot on the ground, taking a 3rd step with your knee touching the ground, and have it not be ruled a catch. Further to the point, you watched it happen in the San Francisco game, almost the identical play, called a catch.
Well, the 2 pass interference calls in overtime towards it, where they give them.
So listen, here, but hold on, here again. So
shouldn't have got there.
No, but listen, even if you're getting to that point, I'm 100% okay with both of those calls by the letter of the law being pass interference. I'm okay with it. What I'm not okay with is in a playoff game where you've allowed receivers and backs the entire game to play a certain way, where there's been contact and there's been hand movement and there's been hold all game long, especially when you get to the 4th quarter and the Bills have a call where the guy's holding on him while the referee is sitting there asking him what he's having for dinner, watching it happen, and no call. To then do it at that juncture of the game is criminal. Should never happen. If you're gonna call that, you better call it all game. And it wasn't. And that's the issue that I have with it. I don't have an issue with the call per se. I have an issue that you didn't call it the entire game, and then it was you had to get home for dinner. Let's make a call and get out of here. I didn't like that. With regards to McDermott being fired, I think if you were going to fire McDermott in any one of the last 3 years, I don't think anybody would have had a problem with it. I think if it was me, I would have gassed him probably after the 13-second fiasco, where I think he deserved it. But I also am starting to have the opinion of Sean McDermott as a coach. He's a program builder. He did a good job when he was in Carolina. He did a fantastic job while he was here. Maybe he's not the guy to get you over the hump, though. Maybe he's a guy who builds
a different voice for sure.
But that's what I mean.
Maybe himself in that last game.
No, but listen, at the same time, if you're critical of Josh, let's also remember that all the coach had to do was get on that phone and say, we're taking a knee at halftime. You have no timeouts and you're 80 yards away. You look up the field. If the play that you run is not open, you go to the ground. You just take a knee. You're not running to the sidelines to gain 10 yards to maybe get a like Mickey Mouse. And again, so that goes back to coaching in big moments, I think. I'm not opposed. So I'm not opposed to the firing. Do I think he necessarily deserved it this year? No, but I think it was a culmination of events that finally got us here. But as a Bills fan, I can just say, you know what? We did it again. You thought we had covered off every way to lose a football game. Here we go. We're going to find a new one.
All right, back to hockey. We're going to wrap up here. We got two quick topics. We'll do a little 30-second hit each. First one, goalie fight. So Bobrovsky, I'll go first on this one. So here's my thought process. Good on Bobrovsky.
Love it.
Love it. So you got the goalie, Nedeljevic or whatever his name is, and he's in there basically with a shield around him, because you know what it's like if one of the Florida Panthers grabs him and starts feeding him, right? Then all hell breaks loose, and it's you never know what's going to happen. Bob saw it, and he went down convicted, and he said, that other goalie's not going to come in and throw shots at my teammates. I have to do the right thing. He did the right thing, absolutely. I don't forget about the fight. I look at it why that happened.
Why it happened.
He did it, and that's going to bring that team even tighter than they already are. And they get Chucky back, right? Like it's that's going to be a team to watch. You got to beat them to win, right? They're the champs. Somebody's going to have to go through that hockey club in the playoffs, and whoever does will have a real big confidence booster for their group. So but things like that, it's funny, right? When you look back at moments in a season, Florida wins the cup again. That could be one of those moments. Hey, best goalie in the world came out of the net and challenged the other guy, in the middle of a regular season game. Love it.
I love it too. Old time hockey. But above all else, what I think is important, and if you're casual to watching the game and you're not paying attention 100% of the time, it had to happen with Florida. And the point was, if you notice, it wasn't premeditated. That's a team that knows when and how to go. And it's exactly what you said to lead into this. That is a veteran squad that knows how to win.
Yep.
Right. And you don't get a guy to bring heart into the room. You don't get a guy to bring passion into the room. You don't get a guy that's with that team. That whole team is just wired for sound that way. Starts with the coach, radiates through the team. Love it. Love every minute of it. And like you said, man, at the end of the day, Ric Flair, to be the champ, you got to beat the champ.
Right.
And I don't know at the end of the day, I don't know that I want to play Florida. They hit everybody. They bang everybody.
Like I said, you're gonna go into an absolute war, and you're gonna have to beat that team 4 times, and nobody's been able to do it. One team's been able to do it in 3 years, right? The Vegas Golden Knights. But okay, last topic quickly. The Olympics are coming. There's a buzz. Everybody's excited about it. There's a kind of trade freeze going into the Olympics. Now,
a bit of action already. A bit of action.
I believe that is going to be a bigger trade deadline than the one in March. And I'll tell you why. Because any big names that are playing in the Olympics, nobody's going to want to wait and see if that guy gets hurt. So if you've got a player that's playing in the Olympic Games, right, that maybe, on a weaker team, not just the Canada, U.S. guys, all the different countries. And there's some of those names are floating out there. Well, Rasmus Anderson was a perfect example. There's a guy that they could have got. They got a lot for him, but they could have got more if they had waited.
That's what I mean. I was actually underwhelmed by the return.
Yeah. But Vegas is betting, and they're saying, hey, isn't that funny? Vegas is gambling, and they're saying, hey, if we win the cup, we'll give them another first rounder. No problem.
Yeah.
right? They don't care about the draft. They're just going to go and make these deals, make these hockey moves, and they contend every year. So there's something to be said for it, right? Our other team's going to look at doing that. Hey, who cares? Trade your first round picks. We don't need them. We're going deep every year with trading guys and bringing them in. So so I think any big names are going to go then. There'll still be obviously some movement at the actual trade deadline coming up in March. But I'm excited for the Olympics. I can't wait to see, that Four Nations last year has got everybody thinking about a Canada-US final and the shenanigans that could happen. As we said last week, Tom Wilson in the lineup is maybe you can't fight at the Olympics anyway. It's international hockey. It's different rules than the Four Nations. That opening to the Canada-US game will not happen because guys are thrown out of the game if they do it, right?
Yeah.
And Tom Wilson will be there to maybe be a little bit more of a deterrent, so to speak, for so the guy that's hurt, who's going to replace him?
Sorry, the guy who's going to replace Tom Wilson?
No, somebody got hurt. One of the Canada forwards, Konechny, maybe.
Oh, listen. Bedard's your guy to come in. I think if it's me and I've got a choice, I'm taking Bedard.
Bedard or Bennett. Bennett's got to be on there too. Right?
So listen, I'm not angry at Sam Bennett. Sam Bennett's made excellent contributions, scored a big goal in the other series that we just had. But I look at it, this is a short-term and a long-term investment, right? Short-term, Bedard's playing fantastic.
It could be the 14th forward. Might not dress, right?
Right. No, but again, though, if he had to, he's been the kid since he was 5. And at every level, when he's had to put on a Maple Leaf jersey, he's been fine, elite, the best guy at the tournament. So I have no concerns with a young guy stepping in and meeting the moment because he's met it all the way along. So that I'm not concerned with. I look at then also I think we all expect Connor Bedard to be on the Olympic team for the next 3 cycles.
Yep.
And so if he is, there's no harm in having him being the extra man. There's none. There's nothing at all. There's no negative that you can find.
Same goes for Schaefer, right?
But Schaefer will play though.
Schaefer, I don't think. Here's my thought on that. I do not think that Devon Toews is going to go. He's hurt, A, and B, his wife's due that week.
Right.
And he said, I'm not going. So it's got to be Schaefer. And Schaefer and Makar, as a pairing, will break the internet. Break the internet. Right?
Lights out.
On that note, you got any last hit? You good?
No, I got nothing this week other than if you are going to the Leaf game, boo the hell out of that traitor.
So thanks to Bjorn and Don Cherry Sports Grill. We'll see you again next week. And some real good hockey coming up, and watch, and we'll talk about it. Talk to you soon.
All right, go Leafs, go.